VocalEye Almost Live Zoom, Touching Life, hosted by Amy Amantea, with special guests François Laliberté, Thilo and Yuko.
Tonight, we are proud to offer you our virtual VocalEye event number. Can anybody guess? Number 69 tonight, number 69, which is Touching Life. So we've got some special guests, but before we get to them, I want to invite Deanna into the space to do our land acknowledgement.
Hi, Amy. And hello, everybody here in our event today. My name is Deanna Jestrin. As Amy said, I am an intern at VocalEye. And I'd like to share with you that my family is from the Statliam Nation near Lillooet, BC on my mother's side, and English Welsh descent on my father's side. VocalEye is presenting to you today from the ancestral, unceded traditional territories of the Musqueam, the Tsleil-Waututh, and the Squamish First Nations. Unceded, as we've talked about many times in this space, means stolen or taken without permission from the originators of the land. Now, I've completed roughly half of my internship at Adler. It's hard to believe that it has gone by so quickly already. And I was thinking about our land acknowledgement today and thinking it's probably a good time to revisit why it's important to do a land acknowledgement. If you're new to this space, then perhaps this is new information to you. So I would like to share that by acknowledging Canada's and the US's historical treatment of First Nations or Indigenous people, we are acknowledging that it was harmful, primarily harmful, especially in the past, 150, 200 years. The relationship has suffered a lot of miscommunication, a lot of misjudgments and assumptions. By honoring this, we understand that this trauma has impacted 7 generations of Indigenous people, and it will continue to impact Indigenous people until the healing can occur. What can we do? We can listen and we can be honest about what comes up for us when we talk about these subjects that are difficult. It's uncomfortable to think about harm, to think about people who suffered. And when we think about these things, when we acknowledge the feelings that come up for us, and when we ask questions, we are able to have a better understanding of the systems of oppression that are still in place. And we can have compassion and demonstrate allyship through understanding, through community, through asking questions or listening and witnessing and holding intention and having a compassionate heart for the people, the Indigenous people in our society who still carry these burdens from the past. So to each of you, I want to say thank you for always welcoming me into this space, Amy and VocalEye team. And I also want to lift my hands up to you. So my hands are lifted and bent by my elbows at 90 degrees with flat palms facing towards me at eye level. And I'd like to say to you all my relations to acknowledge that we are all related. Thank you for being here with us tonight, and I hope you enjoy the show.
Thank you, Deanna. I'm going to miss you when you're not in our space on a regular Wednesday night, but you do know that you're welcome to come back and visit us anytime. The door is always open. So thank you for that. Amy. So friends, this is a virtual VocalEye Almost Live event. My name is Amy Amantea. For some of you who don't know me, I use she, her pronouns. I'm the community outreach coordinator for VocalEye and the host for these events. And I'm also a member of the blind community. And tonight we're going to roll right on into Touching Life. So I'd like to introduce our special guests. I think probably Thilo and Yuko need no special introduction because they're with us just about every Wednesday. So let's give a first warm welcome to Thilo and Yuko in the space, who are the stars of the film tonight. So welcome, Thilo and Yuko. And I also want to welcome the director of the film, François Laliberté, is joining us this evening as well from the future. So welcome, François, to the space.
Hi. Good
Have
night.
we got everybody? We're waiting for Thilo and Yuko Square to pop up, but while I'm waiting for them, I guess what I might ask François before we jump into the film is, you're the director of the film, so tell us how you met Thilo and Yuko.
Oh, it was by friends' communications. They know Yuko and Thilo since long, so they always tease me and tell me, why don't you do a documentary film on them? So I was not waiting, but I was very happy that I did at a time where Thilo and Yuko was able to accept me and their family in a way, and Kurtis able to accept me too. And he was at an age where he was still a little boy. So I was just in time in a way, but I was introduced by friends.
And for Thilo and Yuko, what was that like when did you get a call like out of the blue from a director wanting to ask you about filming? Like, what was that moment like for you?
Do you want to say something?
You go ahead.
Okay. It's Yukon here, and then I was kind of happy to make a movie, but I didn't know how to make a movie. So then later on, when it started, I was kind of regretted because the hard work for the François, but it's also hard. For example, he asked me, say it again. What I said now? I didn't remember what I said, but he asked me, say it again, like that, or come back from that corner to this here again and again to take, that kind of hard work. But I was happy to take a movie because I wanted to give appreciation to give back to appreciation to the this society that we are so supported. That's why we are here, and we have family and 2 blind parents and have baby, and we didn't have any big trouble, and always people supported us, friends and society, friends, and then especially me, I didn't have my parents here, and at that time they're happy now, but at that time my both parents are not happy with our marriage because the 2 blind people's marriage. It show up a little bit in the movie. My mom and dad, they couldn't accept my blindness when I became blind. And on top of that, I decided I'm gonna marry to this guy, he's blind.
Blind and I'm a foreigner.
Yeah.
So there's
it
2
really,
things.
really hit my parents again. so that I couldn't get help from my family, but I have big family here, and then through our this family story, I really believe that people get some encouragement and hope. So lots of people are in a difficult situation, I believe, but they probably will get some hope and encouragement. I really believe it. So I was happy that François asked us to make a movie.
How did you feel, Yuko or Thilo?
In the beginning, I was maybe self-conscious of him knowing he's around. Sometimes I want to look around to see where he was, but I shouldn't do that. So sometimes he was more quiet from distance that I couldn't see. But after a while, I started to feel a little bit normal that he was around. Even sometimes I knew when he was there. The whole process took about 5 months. In the beginning, he followed us at least maybe twice. He followed us 3 weeks in the beginning, straight every day. And he did that. I think he did that another time for 2 weeks, a week, 2 weeks and a half, and then it started to go down a little bit less. And then a day here, a day there to get other shots that he was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, it takes a long time to put a movie together.
For him, because he did everything, it was 2 years.
Yeah, actually that sounds pretty quick for somebody who's pretty much doing all the moving pieces. Francois, for you, what was it like meeting Thilo and Yuko for the first time?
I was afraid.
Sensing a lot of fear all the way around here.
No, the challenge was huge because they do not see me and I could see them. So it was a big challenge. It was a challenge, but a challenge that seems Yuko and Thilo want me to achieve. So I think they helped me a lot to do that, because some morning, as Yuko said, she was not that willing to be filmed. The life is continuing for them, and I was interrupting that life, or not interrupting right away, but filming that life. So no, it was a challenge for them and for me. And I'm very happy that they accept. And it's true what Yuko says. She wants me to show how good life they could have.
Yeah.
If they are blind or blind couple, and how cute or normal kids could be with his family blind parents. So thank you very much, Yuko and Thilo, to allow me to do
Very
that.
much.
And
I think it's great, and I think it's one of the reasons why people are really excited, because we've got 42 people in the space at the moment that are ready to watch this film. But what's nice is that it sounds like there was an effort here to break down the stereotype that people with disabilities shouldn't have kids or can't raise kids, or wouldn't be successful parents. And we need, like Yuko said, we need more encouragement and impact and more understanding from the world around us, that these are things that we want in our lives, maybe, and that we can have them.
Yeah, but I must say they were very humble to let me film, and I think about one scene in particular in the film. And yeah, so thank you again, Thilo and Yuko, for allowing me to do that.
You'll have to share with us when we come back for the Q&A what that scene was you're talking about, Francois, because now I'm curious.
Okay.
So I'll let you hang on. I'll let you marinate on that one for a moment. We're just letting the last couple of folks trickle in, and then we're gonna hit play. But before we do that, I wonder, Thilo and Yuko, when was the last time you saw this movie?
Oh,
I would probably think maybe at least 5-6 years.
no, I think 2 years ago somebody visited here and we
Well,
watched
I'm
again.
from that,
Yeah.
but I've forgotten about that. But from that, maybe 5-6 years. But maybe like people said, maybe 2 years.
Once in a while, somebody visit here, we show them this movie at home.
Yeah, that's lovely.
But today we have explanation with, right? Description with. So that's different. Yeah.
We have the description with this one.
Yeah.
Okay, friends. Well, my clock says it's 7 o'clock Pacific time, so I'm going to mute myself. I'm going to put myself off camera. And Rick, when you are ready, would you go ahead and play Touching Life?
Due to copyright restrictions, this feature presentation has not been recorded. Please check below for more information, including links to the material if it is hosted elsewhere.
Very nice, friends. All right, that was the end of Touching Life, starring our very own Thilo and Yuko, and we're going to welcome them back into the space, and we're also going to welcome Francois back into the space. So we'll just have a moment for those squares to pop up, friends, because I know I got some questions, and I'm pretty sure that there are folks in the audience that might have questions or might have stories that they want to share about raising their own children or being raised by parents who are blind. So I'm really excited to get into this conversation. But I'm just waiting for our guests to appear. Have I got our guests? I don't hear anybody.
Hello.
Oh, we got Francois. That's awesome. So we're just waiting for Thilo and Yuko to join in. So while we're waiting, I suppose, I can ask you a question. I'm curious about the title, Touching Life, and where that came from, Francois. Was that your genius, or how did that happen?
I'm not a genius to think that alone, But no, it was like working with a pencil. It's a touching life means the blind people, looking Yuko and Thilo, they work with their fingers and their hand. So I thought that touching life, it's their meaning, the meaning that they feel the life by touching.
I like that. There could also be a double entendre there, because there's lots of touching moments in this film.
Oh,
so
thank you for that.
that's why I said I think it's brilliant, Francois. How long did it take you to come up with a title like that?
It was because of that. It was the sensitivity the blind people have to have. And also in the film, when we see Yuko reading the Braille with her fingers in the grocery store, so touching life was kind of, yeah, it came up like this and it's pop up like this. And
it makes perfect sense. Yeah. I'm curious, Thilo and Yuko are so Kurtis obviously is quite a bit older now than he was during the filming of this. So tell us, how old is Kurtis now?
He's 16.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So has he got the same sort of mischievous behavior, the same kind of trickery that he did as a youngster?
No, a little different, but he's much better.
Yeah, he's totally different. I'm kind of shocked his voice was like that before.
It's changed since.
Yeah. And
you
but
would expect that of a 16-year-old.
Yeah, because of his teenage, for a while his personality was totally become opposite, I felt. But now the kind of kindness, the personality came back. So that yeah, he was so kind since he was small like this, and then now he's coming back, becoming a really kind young guy again.
And before you know it, he'll be out of the house and maybe off to college or university. Are you ready? Are you ready for that?
I haven't even thought about that yet.
It might not be that far away.
I'm so used to him being here.
Yeah.
Does he have any ambitions to study at university or college?
Well, I'm not sure.
Not sure
he said he's interested in going college. Yeah, but he hasn't figured out what kind of direction he wants to go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh goodness, we have some hands. So let's jump into some of these questions and comments, and we'll go back to the Q&A. So let's go Linda first, and then Nancy. So Linda Hunt, you're up first.
Oh, I'm Linda, and I live in Albany, New York, and I have I have adult daughters who are in their 30s now.
Wow.
And I will tell you that you think they're grown, and that all of that's behind you and all the stress, but there are stressful moments no matter what. I mean, things come up with adults that you're still mom and dad no matter how old they are. And the question I have is, what does Kurtis what does he say about the movie? What does he say about those times? Does he talk about it at all, or have you
Yeah. I just talked with him yesterday. Because usually we don't talk about the movie anymore because it was almost like 10 years ago.
Sure.
But I asked him, that time he was 7 years old. 7? Yeah. And then I asked him yesterday, and how do you remember anything about the movie? We are taking movie with François, and he said he just remember François always said, "Do it again, say it again."
Did he ever talk about his parents being blind? The fact that his parents blonde?
Yeah, depend on his age.
Mhm.
In a very small, he didn't understand we cannot
Right.
see, right? So that he, they point out there like a car. What's that, mama? What's that, mama?
Yeah.
But later on, the daycare, he went wonderful daycare. So they teach Kurtis really nicely that your mom and dad cannot see. And then so he started to understand people wearing their eyeglasses. So the mama, I heard eyeglasses will help you, but it doesn't help me, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Kurtis, the eyeglasses help some people, but not mama and dad. Yeah. And then he was so disappointed. I felt so hurt. And then, sorry for him. Well, there was such a time too. And then elementary school, I see Kurtis was so frustrated because we are blind and we cannot see his work, like a picture. He drew the
Drawings, yeah.
pictures, yeah, and then things, and he made the things, and especially pictures, right? Even we touch, we cannot tell. So that I try to take my friends to his school and then show my friend to explain his work, but it works a little bit, but later on when he turned teenage, he was so angry at us once that, you guys never realize how much I worked hard or anything. And then he was so frustrated for a while in the beginning of the teenage. That time a bit hard. But I feel he is there almost out from the tunnel now. So there, yeah, well, now I look back that this, how I raised him, and I didn't need to be strict like that. I look at this movie now, and I should be more relaxed. Yeah.
Well, I
didn't think you were strict.
Yeah,
But
some small thing like did you check your pencil sharpen and eraser, and that is, I didn't need to say that like that.
But what's your first child that you do that? Well, anyway, I know that's how I've grown up too, and is Burbank still with you? That was a hard thing when we lost guide dogs over the years.
Yeah.
Well, after his
I'll
retirement,
mute
there's
myself
a
in.
story behind that too. So he was. I told the owner not to let him loose where there's a large body of water, and her husband took him to Vanney Park and let him loose, and he went into the sea.
But
and they had to get the Coast Guard to get him.
Yeah, that was a cute story.
And he was on the news and on newspapers. And then 2 days later, I got a call from the guide dog school asking, "Is that our Burbank?" And I had to tell him yes.
Well, but now the
guide dog's gone wild.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and then we have a different guide, the second one. Yeah, but the Burbank, I remember one story that when I schooled Kurtis, Burbank came and between Kurtis and me, and he tried. I really remember the Burbank tried to protect Kurtis from me.
You try to push Yuko away.
Yeah, it was funny that Kurtis and Burbank had some really great friends there.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
Before we go on to Nancy's hand, I want to ask Francois if he would tell us about the scene that he was talking about where he felt humbled. At the beginning, you mentioned a scene, Francois.
Yes. When you do documentary like this, you film a family, and you film a family with the events that occur. And I remember one morning I arrived around 7:45 or 7:30, and filming them for the break at the breakfast time, and Thilo going to school with Kurtis. So something happened before I arrived and before I get to film. So I didn't know really what was happening. And I sensed that something wrong was happening or something disturbed Yuko and Thilo. And Kurtis as well, but I didn't know. So it's appeared that, as Yuko said, Kurtis was trying to make his way in the family. And so he did the trick to his father that morning. And his father was not very keen to accept that or enjoying that. So when we went back from going to school and Kurtis stayed at school and Thilo walked back home, and as we enter in the hall and the home, Thilo and I, Yuko was in tears, and because what was happening, and I was not ready to film. So I was saying to Yuko, keep your sorrow for a moment, wait, I'm ready to film, then you can tell me your story. So it was a weird moment where you ask someone who is in tears to keep your tears for a moment, and when I will film you, you can let go. So it was one of those moments where I didn't know what to do, or I do not know what to do. So I just did as prepare the camera, set up the microphone, and here I was. And I said, okay, you can go. So yeah, those moments, it's very important for the film as well, but tricky to make.
How many hours of footage did you capture, Francois? Do you have any idea?
I do have an idea, but I don't know if I will tell you because you will say that I film too much. No, I film a lot. I must say I film a lot, and Yuko and Thilo could say more than Kurtis, because Yuko said Kurtis forget a bit. And yes, I did a lot of filming because in this kind of documentary film, you do not know what will be good or not for the story. You do imagine, you do screen, like a screenplay, but you do not know what will happen. So I do film a lot, yes. And
yeah, you have to put the story together with the footage that you've got.
Yeah, because, I film a lot, them walking, them acting, and them doing things. But at the end of in the editing, you take a part of, but you film the all session, if I can say, and in the editing you take just a part of it. So yes, I do film a lot. I was at their home a lot, with them a lot. So yeah.
Awesome.
It was long.
That's the love and passion of a documentary filmmaker, I would think. Nancy's got a hand, so we'll give Nancy.
It's to tell the story. I film, for example, when Thilo was saying that I filmed 2 weeks there, 2 weeks there, and 1 week here and there. Yeah. It's true because I feel when they met. The picture of the story when they met occurred in the summertime. And so I went in Vancouver to film 5 days. And one of those days was at the computer in the summertime. And it's helped me a lot. And I was going only for the sound at first. And finally, I used all the visual footage I had because I needed. So yeah, a documentary film, you never know what you will end it with, but you work for.
Love that. Okay, so we've got Nancy. Nancy, you can unmute yourself. And then next up will be Megan, and then Lori, and then Mac. So just give Nancy a moment to unmute. There we go.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Can you?
Yep, we hear you, Nancy.
Well, thank you. That was wonderful. That was really nice. I really enjoyed listening to the question was, I'm so proud that you got to teach your child how to speak the language, because my son would never pick up the language when I was trying to explain, because I'm East Indian, and when I was blind, it was hard for me to learn blind and teach him how to speak my language and go to school and, you know, see how he's doing at school, because he would take a GI Joe to school and I would get in trouble for that. And then he would bring his report card home, he'll initial his name on it, thinking that I signed it. Going on holiday, it made me feel like, oh, he's just such a good boy. He's passed his school, but technically he's failed, and I got in trouble with taking him on holiday. But I had to learn to be a strong mom. Being a single mom was harder, but I give you guys both credit. You guys worked with him, and you know, look at where he's today. And I love the idea that he went shopping with you guys, and he helped you with the buggy pushing. My children now, they don't want to hang around with me. It's just that, you know, Mom, you stay home, you look after my bag, and, you know, we go out and have fun. But I'm so, and it makes me
Sounds
feel
like
nice to see this. And, you know, you guys are so, you know, our family is, my sister married a blind fella and from school, and my parents said, oh my God, he's blind. And my sister said, Dad, I'm blind too. You got to live with it. And you know what? They're the happiest couple. And I always thought, wow, looking at this story here, I had tears in my eyes, because imagine what, you know, we do with our husbands, you know, when we're disability, they help each other out at dinner, their family. I'm proud of you guys. Keep up the good work. I hope there's a second half to this, and love to see it
Thank you.
again.
That's another
We're not-
You
question
guys
for
touched
later.
my
We're not
heart.
I'm
already
It's a
curious.
planning.
beautiful. It was worth
Thank you
watching
for the
today.
thought.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you very
Nancy.
much.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to Megan. Give Megan a moment to unmute.
Yes, I was wondering, because I'm wondering, have you ever raised your son only in Japanese and not English? Would that be too hard for you, or? But then Tilo would understand, right? If
Well,
you
they
only spoke
speak,
Japanese.
most of the time they speak to each other in Japanese. And sometimes, a lot of times when they have an argument, it's in Japanese. I have to wait for one to speak to me. Before, I used to always want to know what's going on and get frustrated. I don't anymore.
Ah,
So you don't know
But-
Japanese then, Tilo?
No, I already know a few words and I know the food names, so I know what I'm eating.
but you
All
don't.
the
You didn't
important stuff, the food names.
That's right.
but when he was born, you didn't talk to him only in Japanese, right? Because like when he was 1 or 2, I didn't say. Oh, I didn't
Oh,
say.
no, Yuko spoke to him in Japanese. I spoke to him in English. And then we
Like when he
decided,
was when he was 1 or 2 or 3.
yeah,
Wow.
right from the
But he
beginning,
raised
right
him
from the
only in
beginning.
Japanese, and she raised him in Japanese and no English.
No,
Well,
we
he speaks
both.
English.
Oh,
I
okay,
speak-
okay.
I
Sorry.
spoke to him in English and she spoke to him in Japanese.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry.
And then
guys.
over
I didn't-
time, for a while, he did fight us, but over time, he started to speak. And
Mhm.
anyways, Yuko could speak more about
I hope
that.
he appreciates that, because it's a real gift to have been able to
I
learn
Yeah.
think he
languages.
does.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I shouldn't criticize. It's not. It's
No,
not
no, I didn't take that as a
No.
criticism. You just
Oh,
wanted
okay.
to
I
learn.
already did that once, my teacher. Once.
Thanks, Megan.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you. Yes.
Lori's got a hand, then it's Mac, then it's Louise, and then it's Winnie.
Yeah, I'm already unmuted. How did it feel to you guys to have people following you while you were out walking and doing your normal activities during the day with your son and everything?
It was just one person.
Uh-huh.
And like I said, in the beginning, I was kind of self-conscious and wanted to know where he was at all times. Over time, it got less and less, and I started to feel a little bit better when he was around. Even when I knew he was there, it didn't bother me anymore.
It's a
What
very
did your
unique
dog?
feeling.
What did your dog at the time think of having somebody else following
He-
behind you guys?
Well, if he was behind me, Burbank would always look behind.
Or you know, yeah, there's Francois has more about this, right, Francois?
Yeah, but sometimes also we bump on each other because I, as a sighted person, I thought he could see me.
Mm-hmm.
So he couldn't see me, so we bump in each other sometimes.
Or
And
sometimes my face would come up to his camera really close. When in in the looking back and trying to put it together, he said it looked kind of weird.
That sounds like a blooper reel, Francois.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for example, in the scene where in the film, Thilo asked Kurtis what colors his shirt is, it's because I asked you, Kurtis, to redo that scene because Thilo asked it to Kurtis before I could film. And after I said, oh, it's a good line, that a good relationship between father and son. So I went in the room and I asked Kurtis to come and I asked Thilo, could you do that again? And it's true, I asked you many times to do that again, but I must say that I could not do that much because you couldn't come back a big distance and do it again. I did it mostly, if I can remember, I do not know exactly in the house, at the dining table or something like that in the living room, but not for sure in the street because as we were walking in the street, I couldn't ask you, could you do that again? But I did, yes, I did, and thank you very much for that, Yuko and Thilo.
I just want to say it was a fantastic documentary. I did miss a little bit because I had a dog decide he wanted to go to the bathroom, but it was a great documentary.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lori.
All because of Yuko and Thilo and their permission to be filmed. Because I was very shy too, to show their life and making a film out of it. So I was very shy to do, and thank you, Yuko and Thilo.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You did a great job, and also this description, right? Yeah, we found a new thing today that Kurtis was doing in the background like that.
Yeah, he was crawling up the door frame. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
First time in 10 years you knew that.
I didn't. Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, we got a question from Mac and then Louise and then Winnie. So Mac, you're up. We'll just give Mac a moment to unmute. All right.
There we go. Hey guys. I guess I just wanted to say, or I also had a question, but as someone that's been visually impaired for most of their life, I have to say I'm very impressed with how well you guys adjusted to going from having all of your sight to being fully blind or partially sighted. So I'm very impressed with how you guys managed that. And my question for you guys was this. As you said in the video, he was 7 years old. So, and he learned, oh, my parents, they can't really see what I'm doing. So maybe I can take advantage of that. When was the turning point of him starting to realize that, okay, I need to be more honest and, not do that because that's not a nice thing to do, kind of thing?
Over time, it got better, and off and on, even then, in between those periods, sometimes something would happen. But it was over time. I couldn't say, what age it was, but yeah, I believe he's well over that now.
Yeah, I think they're very recently.
Okay.
Yeah. So once I asked, the Betty in a movie, she has 2 children. I asked her children that once, did you guys, they take advantage of your mom? And then they said, oh yeah. So all the, not only my son, so that I felt a little bit better. But I am really embarrassed with this movie, watching this movie, that I was really, Kurtis was not honest, that kind of behavior really hurt me that time.
Mhm.
And I was so, what's the word? I couldn't find the word, but I shouldn't be like that, but he was a first child. I didn't have experience, and I saw
Right.
that child didn't treat parents like that. But all the children go through those way, right? So I yeah, kind of embarrassed to watch this movie, that part.
Well, I think you guys were very amazing parents, and you've had to learn to adjust to a whole new life, as well as have a child who was sighted. And I think you guys did very well, and you should be very proud of yourselves for sure.
And let's not forget, friends, I would say that there are many sighted parents with sighted children, and those children take advantage of their parents too. Like that's a universal experience, I think.
And that's true. I did too.
Yeah, that's
It's
right.
normal.
There you go. Maybe it's in his DNA, Yuko.
Yeah, but you forget about yourself and then blaming others, right?
Yes. Thank you, Mac, for sharing your
Thank you
thoughts.
very
Thank you.
Thank you.
Louise, you're up, my friend.
It feels weird. Hi, Yuko. Hi, Thilo. It
Hi.
feels a little bit weird, but because I can relate to some of the things some of the things, but I faced other things having three kids.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing I had the advantage of is growing up with visually impaired parents and growing up with two sisters who were visually impaired. Though I wasn't total when my sons were born, the one thing now, I can't see their faces. And I know that loss. I mean, I've been there for many years now, and it's like, and I never could see the color of their eyes or their nose, their face. I could only see the spots on their face in that. And it is tough. I mean, you just broke my heart, as you said. I wanted to see them just that once, that, I guess it's that feeling of, and I get it. I mean, there's times that my baby's 24 in a few weeks, less than 2 weeks now. And it's like, I wish I could see his face one more time, really see his face. All three of my sons.
Yeah.
But I can honestly say, your son is no different than my children. I mean, my kids took advantage, but it wasn't advantage of the blindness. It's advantage of taking advantage of a parent. I heard many parents
testing the
say
boundaries,
that.
right? That's how kids learn what boundaries are. So
I'm saying to you guys, never give up when he tests the boundaries. Even now, he's 17. Well, this in 6 months. Yeah. My nephew turned 17 tomorrow, so I remember how old he is because my nephew was born the same year as him.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I'm saying is when he turned, be proud of him. Be proud of what he does accomplish. Don't look at the negative.
Oh no, that's right.
And be proud of yourselves.
Yeah, be proud of yourself. What I'm trying to get across is, I mean, my kids have done things that I'm not proud of. And I mean, I can look back and see those moments. And I'll tell you something. When they do something, they accomplish something good. That's when you smile. And just remember that. Be proud of him for what he accomplishes. Don't expect him to be something he can't be.
That's
right.
Yeah, but I tend to, I understand. Thank you, Louise. I've been there. I've had those moments of disappointment. So I tend to focus on the negative points. So that was my mistake, and I tried to change myself. So actually, Kurtis is actually helping myself to grow. But
I mean, my kids were older. I mean, a couple times when the biggest disappointments happened, they were older than Kurtis or around Kurtis's age. So don't, it's disappointments come from our children. I mean,
because right. But I never realized is when we had a child or children that we've actually gone back to school to learn more about life itself.
Right.
Of
We
growing
grow
our
as
minds.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say we grow as people. We
Mhm.
mature. We broaden our horizons as adults.
Yeah.
And our
Right.
children give us blessings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But our
right.
children also teaches us too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots.
Yeah, but I just wanted to say congratulations. I mean, I've never seen it before tonight, and it just made me smile. Remembering, I'm trying to remember what month that was started the filming, and I remember when you started it, but
Yeah.
I can't remember what month it was. But when do you remember what month it was?
No. We started to take this movie from 7 years old. Kurtis 7 years old.
Yeah.
To the like a 1 year and a half, and then in 2 years, the François actually made it as a movie.
Okay, so but the 3 weeks started all together. The first 3 weeks were all together when he was 7.
At least in the beginning, but there were, longer, but as it went further on, it came less and less. And all the way through, he was saying, I don't know what the movie's going to be about. I don't know what the movie's about. Then later on, he kept saying, I don't know what the title is going to be. We didn't get the title until almost the last moment. But
it's a beautiful touching. It's a beautiful title.
Don't worry. Like
Right.
Francois says, don't worry about the title until the end, until the last thing. You don't need it at the beginning or in the middle.
It's a good point. Yeah, you don't need it until you're delivering it.
So you deliver it, exactly.
Thank you, Louise, for sharing your thoughts.
Thank you, Louise.
You're welcome.
We've got a hand from Winnie is up next, and then Chantal.
Hi, Thilo and Yuko. It's Winnie, Daniel, and Alethea's mom.
Winnie.
Hi, guys.
Hi. How are you?
I'm so good. I miss talking with you. This is my second time watching the documentary, and it completely warmed my heart once again. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences and thoughts and feelings with us. Daniel is now 18. He's at university, and Alethea is 15. And Yuko, do not ever feel embarrassed, because that's part of the parenting journey. Both of my kids, they challenge me. They try to trick me. They manipulate me. But I think that's all being a teenager, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got double trouble.
Yeah.
You got it. Yeah.
And
So-
Winnie,
yes.
because I see you here. That one of the reason that I wanted to take this movie is that I wanted to help some type of way to help the parents who has blind children, because I saw my dad was really had a hard time because I became blind. And he lost the hope, all the hope of me. But I wanted to tell him that, no, I'm still here. I'm same as before. But it was so hard to tell him, I have still hope. I have my life still. And but it was so hard to explain to my dad. So that's the one of the reason that the positive, really positive to what's the word? I was happy to Francois to take the movie. So I just remember that was the one of the biggest reason that I wanted to this movie to show to the society. And there's because the parents, I lost my sight. I'm the one who lost my sight, but I was not. I was still, I have only my life on. This is my first life, and then couldn't compare to other life. So I was pretty okay. I'm gonna learn the braille. I'm gonna learn how to work with my cane, and as much as when I do effort and then I got it, the skill. So they're kind of interesting. I enjoyed learn new skill, but my parents was different. My parents was in the dark long time. So this movie, I wanted this movie to help the parents who has children, blind children. So I'm so glad to see you again.
So Yuko and Thilo, after this is done, I will try to get my information to you because I want to talk to you some more, but not right now.
Okay.
But I think this documentary has done that. I mean, absolutely. For those of you that don't know, I am a sighted parent, and one of my children is completely blind. And I told the kids that I was watching this documentary tonight, and I reminded them about Master Sirota and going there. And when Daniel and Kurtis did their martial arts together.
Yes.
And Yuko, do you remember that? And Thilo too, I would do my best to narrate for you what was going on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but Daniel totally, he goes, I remember them. And of course, Alicia, with her memory, yes, she absolutely remembers you guys.
Wow.
So
She
yes.
was really young, 5 years old. Wow.
Yes. Well, that was a long time ago, but we will catch up. I will try to get your information somehow. Okay. But I just
Winnie, email us at VocalEye and we'll connect you all.
Sounds so good.
Yeah. Nah,
awesome.
Nice.
I love it. It's like a reunion space for all. Thank you, Winnie, for sharing. We're gonna take the hand from Chantel.
Thank you, Amy. Yuko and Thilo, it's been great to watch the documentary for the second time for me as well. And it's funny how you pick up on certain things that you didn't really listen for the first time when you watch it. And I had that proud moment. And for people who don't know on this line tonight, I am a visually impaired parent of 2 daughters, and my husband, who's now passed away, was also totally blind. So we know where you're coming from. And one of our kids actually also has some vision trouble, but not as much as we do. And the proud moment for me was when you're in the store shopping and Kurtis is helping, and he's decided that this is not a chore for him, this is something he wants to do. I remember being in a store one time with my husband, and the kids would, when they were young, it's true, when they're teenagers, they feel like they don't want to help as much anymore. But when they were younger, they used to love putting the groceries in the bag and helping. And, you know, we did compensate a lot of times. They would get a treat or something just to make sure that, as you said, you weren't raising a slave. You wanted him to be a little boy who was going to be the same as every other little boy and have all the advantages that you could possibly give him. And so we were proud to be sure that we were teaching the kids that these are the things we have to do to sustain a home. And so the woman behind me at that point, when we were bagging groceries, said, "Oh, isn't that wonderful? You had kids so they could help you." And
Microaggression 101. Let's
I
throw
looked
the
at her and I
ableism.
said, well, I looked at her and I said, there are 4 of us who live in this home and we all eat.
Yeah.
So we all help doing the groceries. And so then when the kids were teenagers, my oldest daughter, Whitney, was 16. And she asked if she could go play with her friends or whatever it was. And I said, well, first there was a bit of groceries that I was hoping you could go do for us. And so we lived not far from the store. And her friend looked at her and said, well, how will you know what to buy? How do you do that? And that girl had absolutely no idea, because her mom, A, never taught her, B, she never had the opportunity to do the things that Whitney was taught how to do. So good on you. You have done, and you've portrayed everything, a lot of the things that we experienced as blind parents. There are certain things we learn how to do to learn how to cope. And you should by no no way be ever embarrassed about the kids taking advantage, because kids of sighted parents do the same things. And I remember once one of our daughters raised her voice at her dad, and we had company, and someone said, "You let her talk to you that way?" And he said, "How else am I going to know? I mean, within reason, but how else was he going to know that she wasn't unpleased? You know, she was displeased with something that he was asking her to do or saying." So her voice was raised, because the body language he can't see. So there are certain times when, yes, we have developed our own ways, our own mechanisms to be able to cope as a family. May not look quite right to others, but if it works for you, then those are the things that you need to continue doing. And thank you so much for allowing us to watch this documentary again. I really appreciated being able to see it one more time.
You're very welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing that. I had a friend when I first lost my sight. I don't know if people know, she's passed now. Her name was Joan Buchholz.
Yes, I remember Joan.
And Joan used to tell me, I used to go play bingo with Joan, and she was like 40 or 50 years older than me. But she would say to me that she used to put bells on the clothes of her kids so that she could hear where they were walking around in the house. And
My kids had them on their shoes.
Yeah, and I was so new to my blindness that I thought, oh my gosh, that's so genius. Like, it's just genius, right? So it's I learn a lot from, I'm not a parent, and one day maybe I will be, but I learned a lot from listening to folks who have done this, because that's how we help our community as well, right? So
well, one of the things we did when he was real small is behind him we put a bell, so
he cannot take
it off. And then when he was going to school, we would put it on his backpack. But later on didn't want it on, so we had to take it off. But he was getting better and better at that. But to find where he was, no, we had to put a bell on him.
Yeah, same.
It helps when they're tiny humans and they run around quickly and you can't figure out where they are in a space. Toddlers do that. Yeah.
Right.
Francois, I want to ask you about the editing process. So, I mean, you took what I can only surmise is like hundreds of hours of film, but the process of like sitting down and going through all of that, and then when you did that, did the story become really clear to you as to what it needed to be? And then how long did it take you to piece it together?
At first, it's not complicated, but you have to look through all your footage. And I listen the interview and I work on the story itself. And after I work on what is available picture-wise to help me to tell that story. So there was always main scene, if I can say, as the grocery store, the traveling, and the house scene as a mother, as a father. So I have to write the screenplay in a way that every aspect of their life I could film will be seen in a storytelling that at the end in the park, it suits well to arrive there. But at first I have to introduce them. Kurtis go to school, parents parenting, and Kurtis playing with his father, mother, and parents reacting. So yeah, it was not easy. It was not easy, but I enjoy very much editing a film. And I must say here, thank you very much, Yuko and Thilo, and especially for that scene where Yuko, I push you a bit to give me your family story. And as you said, I will not repeat, but I must say before the editing is the way to have the pictures and to have the content. So I must say that, excuse me, Yuko, excuse me, Thilo, to have maybe push you here and there at different moments while 6 months filming, you know. So you are not feeling great every day. to see me arriving, but you accept, and I can say that yes, you couldn't see me, so I can see your fear in a way, and I can feel it while I was filming you. But what could I say? It was okay with you and Thilo that I filmed, so I tried to be as small as I could in your house and being able to film you. So yeah, and coming back to the editing, it's a hard road for me because I do everything. I take 1 year to edit, but 1 year not to edit to edit all the film, but the structure itself, it kind of 6 months, and inside 6 months you can build your film. But because I do everything alone, I write down all the interviews, and after I choose all the music, and I make the sound editing. So if you add 1 month to do this, 1 month to do that, 6 months to do this, and 2 months, 1 month to do that, it's a long road. And after I go with National Film Board to do the final editing, and the final editing, it's 5 weeks of my time. So in a year, it's not that much, but accumulate with all those months, I take a year usually to edit a film.
Wow. I think it's great context for people to understand how these things come together and how much time and energy goes into that. The question was sort of loosely posed earlier, whether there could possibly, like, would you revisit Thilo and Yuko and Kurtis and do a 10 years later documentary kind of idea? Kurtis goes off to college documentary? I don't know.
Anything's possible.
I don't know.
We're not sure though, but anything's possible.
It's up to them, but I do not know, because the purpose of the film at first was, as Yuko said, it was the same purpose for the parents to know that their kids, even if they are blind, could have a good life and a success in their life. So that is done. The other thing, I do not know. It's not the story.
Needs to have a message.
Well, I really enjoyed this film, as did sounds like everybody who joined us tonight. But before we say officially goodnight, because we've been chatting together, friends, for almost an hour, believe it or not. I know, right? Because the film ended at 7:52 and it's 8:42, so almost a whole hour, as longest Q&A we've ever had. But before we let you all disappear for the night, I think we should do our prize draw. What do we think, friends?
That's right.
Yeah, prize draw. So, François, are you up for a prize draw?
Yeah, but what I have to do?
Okay, so we're going to bring in Donna. And Donna, I'm going to let you explain to François what you need him to do.
Okay, François, it is super easy. I have a bag of names. I'm shaking them up. And whenever you want, you say whatever word you want. And I will pick a winner.
Burbank.
Burbank, love it.
Burbank. And the winner is Chantal.
Thank you.
She's getting it.
Chantal, what we do is we connect with you offline and figure out what your prize is and get it to you. So that's our new model, so that folks all over joining us can have a prize that is relevant to their area. Doesn't do much to send a Tim Hortons gift card to somebody who doesn't maybe live close to a Tim Hortons, right? So we'll connect with you, and a reminder that we need to connect with Lori as well about her prize. So thank you so much, François, for joining us this evening, sharing with us a bit about the process, and it's a really lovely documentary. I hope you're very proud of it. So thank you so much for joining. And of course, Thilo and Yuko, thank you for being our special guests.
Oh, you're
welcome.
Thank you very much too.
It brought back memories to me.
Thank you, François.
Thank you, François.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
And with that, friends, I will let you go for the evening, and we will stop the recording.
VocalEye, vocaleye.ca. Special thanks to our funders, the Canada Council for the Arts, the British Columbia Arts Council, the Province of British Columbia, and the City of Vancouver.